Good morning, first grade. What a great day. Let's talk about the weather because the weather is turning finally for the better, right? Finally for the better. We're getting some spring, nice, summer like weather. I've opened up my pool. I planted a lot yesterday at Lowe's. I got to see Juliana. I walked on sunshine. Get it, weather? Clouds skipping all day long after I got to see my girl. I loved seeing her. So, do you remember when I read to you Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs? And then we did some great writing. And I think we even watched some videos with it. It was a lot of fun. Well, I'm going to read you the sequel to that Pickles to Pittsburgh. It's the sequel to Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. All right, let's see what this story is all about. I'm putting on Mr. Nickerson's glasses because they were on the table. Thanks, Mr. Nickerson. All right, dear Henry and Kate. I'm having the best vacation ever, but I don't get much rest. I really wish you were here. Our group travels around in a big blue bus, and somehow it manages to climb up and down the tallest and bumpiest mountains and around some of the biggest plants I've ever seen. We visited many unusual places, met the local people, and even helped them out with some of their chores. I'm taking lots of pictures because this place is hard to believe. Can't wait till I see you next Thursday. Love and hugs, Grandpa. We all miss Grandpa an awful lot. His Saturday morning pancakes, but mostly his funny jokes and especially his wonderful bedtime stories. Tomorrow would be Thursday and he'd be home. We could hardly wait to hear what he'd been up to. To pass the time, we helped Mom make spaghetti and meatballs. For dinner, Henry made the largest meatballs we'd ever seen. They barely fit into the pot. Mom thanked us for helping, but asked that the meatballs be much smaller next time. After we finished eating, Henry and I cleared the table so we could help bake a special welcome home cake for Grandpa. It was chocolate with strawberry icing and made it in the shape of Grandpa's face. We licked as much of the batter off the spoons as we possibly could. And I bet Violet's family could make a better cake than that, but that's cute. I took Grandpa's postcard up to my room and put it on the little table beside my bed. I kept staring at it and wondering. The lamplight made a bright photograph of a wonderful place that seemed somehow familiar. And I said good night to it and drifted off into my dreams. Text to text now, right? Cloudy with a chance of meatballs. Surrounded by milky blue skies with Henry as my co-pilot. We carefully steer our plane through the large puffs of mist. Soon we find ourselves soaring over an island, a very lumpy island, and from the air it looks like a gigantic feast. Immense vegetable salads and desserts lie beneath us. The mountains look like huge loaves of bread. We decide to take a closer look and prepare ourselves for a bumpy landing, avoiding some broccoli and narrowly missing a tremendous hamburger on an oversized bun. We come down and taxi on what appear to be giant strips of crisp bacon. Henry and I step down from the plane and look around in awe. Before us lies a strange but wonderful landscape. We are surrounded by larger-than-life vegetables. Nearby is a lake that smells like breakfast, bordered by leafy jungles of lettuce that resembled tossed salad. Use your imagination when you're outside. What other things look like that you could compare to this? We try to keep our balance as we walk around the top of a gigantic bagel and past a forest of towering carrots. One is pierced by a tunnel large enough for a car to drive through. Yum. Off in the distance, we see popcorn snowing down onto the peaks of enormous rolls. Way above our heads, high up in the trees that look like broccoli, chubby birds are nesting in huge shredded wheat biscuits. Ahead of us, at the end of the long road, lies what looks like an abandoned town. Eager to know what we are, we start walking towards it. Sweet-smelling rain begins to fall, and it collects in hundreds of open containers that are lined up in the field beside the road. Lots of orange juice puddles are everywhere. Orange juice. All of a sudden, we find ourselves standing in the shadow of a giant tuna fish sandwich being delicately airlifted by a helicopter. In the distance, another helicopter races off with a jumbo pickle in tow. Lunch is being delivered. When we reach what is left of the town, we see the remnants of a sign welcoming us to a place called Chew and Swallow. Somehow I know I've heard the name somewhere before. We walk through the entire town in amazement. Actually, it doesn't look very good. Look at that. Do you remember where we left off? When we read Chew and Swallow? It didn't end well, did it? Up ahead, lots of workers wearing helmets and dressed in matching uniforms are loading huge potatoes onto a truck. Look at the construction going on. Other trucks sag underneath the weight of the immense artichokes, enormous eggplants, and massive peas and carrots. Foot-long veal cutlets are stacked up to be packed for shipping. To the east, the weather is changing, and we can see sandwiches raining down. And as soon as they land, they are piled up neatly, ready for shipment on a freighter anchored down by the shore. And it says shipping details, a schedule. Monday, eggplants to Ecuador, chili to Chile, milk to Milwaukee, hamburgers to Hamburg. Tuesday, pickles to Pittsburgh, pears to Paris, artichokes to Argentina. Sandwiches to Sandusky. So large reservoirs of milk and cream flow into the extra-large containers, which are lined up ready to be loaded onto a ship. Printed on the sides of the trucks are words, Falling Food Company, large food for large and small countries. Free! Perfect! Doing what they can to help other countries with the overflow of food. So one of the workers tells us that Chew and Swallow used to be a very ordinary little town, except that instead of weather, food rained down from the sky for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We love that idea, remember? Back then, he says, by some quirk of nature, the falling food grew larger and larger. Storms of gigantic food threatened normal life, so the people took their belongings and sailed away to a new land on rafts made of huge slices of stale bread. They returned years later to see what had happened to Chew and Swallow, and they discovered an endless food supply and decided to create the Falling Food Company. Perfect. Now, daily shipments are made to all parts of the world, from the smallest towns to the largest cities. And as soon as the food lands in it's wrapped, boxed, bottled, or packaged, and sent out to the people who need it. Even with poverty and drought throughout the world, look at that elephant. See, he's used for transportation. He's a working elephant. There are always enough food for everyone. Henry and I think it's a great idea, and we wish we could stay and work here, but I don't think they hire kids. It's getting late, and we hate to leave, but we really have to be heading home. Mom's expecting us for dinner, and the workers give us a 2-foot wide chocolate chip cookie that we carry back to the plane. It just barely fits through the door. Yum. We buckle up and I rev the engine and we start rolling down the bacon runway. And as everyone waves goodbye, we can see dinner approaching from the west. Spaghetti and meatballs, I think. And as we gain altitude, Chew and Swallow slowly vanishes into the distance. My alarm clock woke me with a jolt. It was finally Thursday, and I wanted to get to school fast. The sooner I got there, the sooner I'd get home, and the sooner I'd see Grandpa, the main character in the story. When we got home, we ran as fast as we could into Grandpa's waiting arms. I brought back something for you, said Grandpa, and he gave us each a very large box containing a chocolate chip cookie he had gotten on his trip. They were the biggest ones we had ever seen, almost 2 feet wide. Mom had made Grandpa's favorite dinner, chicken and dumplings, and we surprised him with our special welcome home cake. He chose the slice with the mustache mustard. By the time dinner was done, it was late and Grandpa was tired. When he was all tucked in bed, we knocked on his door to give him an extra goodnight kiss. Then I told Grandpa the most wonderful tall-tale bedtime story he had ever seen. It began, surrounded by milky blue skies and with Henry as my co-pilot. Grandpa stayed awake until the very end, and then he looked up at us with a very funny glint in his eye and said, "Wait till I show you the pictures I took on my next trip." And then he drifted off into his own wonderful dreams. And here's the map. First grade, what's your prediction? Chew and swallow. What's spaghetti with meatballs? Pickles to Pittsburgh. What will Grandpa's next adventure be? Can you let me know? All right. Have a great sunny day. Get your work done. Get out there and enjoy it. I sure do miss you. Ask Juliana. I freaked out. All right. Have a great day. Bye.